Hello everyone, welcome to the new year 2019 and welcome to the weekly trade review 24. In this video, I'm going to share some tradejournal.co updates with you. I'm also going to share how my favorite crypto chart pattern that I talked about in the last video strikes again and was one of my best day trades of the week. And actually today or yesterday, I just missed this pattern. I was offline, I checked this morning and I saw it again. So this pattern repeats itself over and over again, and this is exactly what I teach. These patterns do not just come out of nowhere, and the trading is not blind. We look for specific patterns and then look for ideal entries and exits in those patterns to take profits if the market is going up or down. I did only make 3 day trades this week, and I closed out 1 longer swing trade, so I'm going to be reviewing those. The rest of the week I had some friends visiting me, and most of the time I was on the slopes doing some snowboarding, so I didn't get much trading in, although I did make weekly watch lists and I did place limit orders. Unfortunately, most of those did not get executed. I'll be talking about the top trades, biggest lessons, and what's planned for next week. There'll be a bunch of goodies along the way, so make sure to stay tuned till the end. So to get started, like I said, if you go over to tradejournal.co right here, you can click on Access Google Sheet 2019 and see some of the updates. I'm just going to share a few of them with you fairly quickly because there's a whole entire how to use video and I don't want to take up too much of the time, but I think it's always cool to talk about some of the changes and updates. I also just noticed that this is a Google ad right here, and it's actually our company. So my brother's doing some hardcore retargeting ads, and it seems to be working. He actually just made a video about retargeting ads. I know that's a bit off topic, but if you want to check that out, I'm going to link it in this video. It's going to be probably somewhere above. So yeah, if you do any Google ads or something like that, it might be kind of interesting for you guys. Anyway, moving along, right here you can see I'm still building out this how to use section. It's very new, so not too much stuff here. But the really good stuff is, first, number one, the chart. I updated so it's much kind of bigger and accurate and different colors and kind of easy to read. I also moved the ledger around so it's a bit less intrusive. This is all dummy information, so when you guys fill out the chart yourself, it's going to be obviously entirely different, but I kind of wanted to add some information there to give you an idea how the chart looks. Again, just a quick little overview. These blue bars are how much you are trading that specific day. The yellow line is your investor profit and loss line. The red line is your trader sum, so day trade profit and loss, and then your green is the combination. That way you can view your chart over a period of time, and I'm going to be showing my chart in just a little bit. But first, just to dive into a little bit more, the analytics numbers is what I really changed. And the biggest change here is I reduced the amount of orange lines because basically the orange lines are the ones that you edit, and the less that you edit, the better, because less chances for mistakes. So basically right now the trader week and investor week, sum of the investor week, and the weekly average is all calculated from what you input here, and you no longer add additional information on this side of the screen. So it's all very intuitive. I try to make it. I made a little how to use. I think the only thing that's a little complicated here is a half trade counts as 0.5 now instead of 1. So basically, if I open a position right here, you can see that I opened, let's say, a Bitcoin investment, and I just here I said 0.5 because I opened the trade. It's not a full roundhouse trade, which would consider as an open and a close. So 1 as a day trade would count. Here is 1 day trade, and then the profit's 50 bucks. Here I open a trade, no profit obviously because it's not closed. And then here in the notes you can see that in theory I closed the trade and this is my profit. So that's kind of the biggest change I would say that was made, but this makes everything a little bit more clear. That way you kind of see a realized gain when it happened, and everything is a bit more up to date and realistic and transparent, and that's where we like to keep it here at crypto.enslo.com. Alright, enough of me rambling about that. If you have any questions, just make sure to email me at alex@enslo.com, or leave a comment below in this YouTube video or the blog post, whatever you guys are viewing it on. Coming right down here on the blog post, we have the tradejournal.co journal summary of the week. As I mentioned before, it was a fairly slow week. I didn't do too much trading. I had a nice initial trade here Pretty cool. This could have been a huge profit actually, but I closed my position a bit too early. I could have probably made around 3 times my money on this one. Percentage wise, this was really nice. Still pretty small position size overall, so the profit obviously isn't as large. But then the last 2 trades I made on the week were 2 small scratches. Well, I guess you could say 1 scratch and 1 almost legit loss. Yeah, and then right in the beginning we had a pretty nice investor profit. I'm going to be reviewing all 3 of these trades. I'm not going to talk too much about the investor trade since that is all outlined for you guys to check out on your own time, and I want to keep these videos as short as possible. Anyway, these 4 trades total allowed me to end the week, even though I did almost nothing, with a $719 profit. So that's pretty sweet. Now diving right into my chart, there's a few things that actually changed since I made that TradeJournal.co update. If you look into a past video, you'll see the chart is a little bigger, more consolidated here, and that is because, remember, I was talking about the 0.5 thing. Originally I put the profit on the opening date, not the closing date. So the beginning, this area of the chart changed a little bit because I made a lot of investment trades here, so they basically all kind of got moved over, so the bump is a bit more, I guess you can say, shifted to the right. Other than that, all the same data, nothing really changed, just a little bit how the lines on what day the peaks are. Also, this week put me to a new nice high, which is always fun to look at. And actually, since it's already Thursday, this is the latest I've ever made a trade review, and I'm sorry for that, but it was a crazy week, so I really didn't want to look like a zombie on the video. It's pretty sweet to see this chart growing, and you can also see there's a bit more activity now. Actually, well, just one more trade with the investment. But as we are getting to these really big lows of 85% down from all-time highs with cryptocurrency, I'm definitely going to be looking to open some long-term swing positions and maybe even build out my crypto portfolio a bit more. So I'm going to be talking about those kind of positions in my watch list a lot more in the near future. Obviously, one of my top trades this week is the Xrp Swing Trade. This was a pretty cool trade. The exit was almost perfect. I mean, it was textbook exit. The entry, though, was extremely shaky, and if I was a little bit less aggressive and waited for the price to come to me a bit more, like I always talk about, then I think I could have paid around 40% more on this trade, which is huge. So it goes to show that, you know, being aggressive is my biggest downfall, and it's the same thing I talk about in almost every video. Even though I do get better, and I've noticed that even when I watch my old videos again or review my old trades, I'm like, wow, I definitely, you know, do better now. But it's still crazy how the same aggressive entry again and again bites me. So that's why it's so important to document your trades. That's why we have Trade Journal. And that's why I encourage you guys to always talk in the chat and, you know, see what other people are doing and kind of be a little bit more patient and always let the trade come to you. Remember, the name of the game is to live to trade another day and not get in a sticky position where you really hurt your account size. Again, everything about this trade is listed right here. If you are interested, the chart pattern, the Google sheet where I talk about the trade and outline it ahead of time, so you can always see that. And for all my other investment trades, you can just go right here to portfolio. You do have to be a full member for accessing the trade documents and the portfolio, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in the end of the video, because I think there's some really good stuff there if you are serious about improving your trading education and learning resources. My first day trade of the week was really sweet. The Neo trade. Again, this was an ascending channel short, and this is one of the patterns I talk about all the time. You can see it right here in the resources chart pattern library. It's one of my best traded chart patterns, and what we had here is a very classic beginning. And right here is where you can see on my Bitfinex account where I got in. We had a very nice channel forming. First here, this is more or less a waterfall decline or breakdown actually from another ascending channel. We formed a bottom here, and then we made a top. So right at this top, I kind of connected the lines right here, and then on this one I made a bottom line. And then what I'm looking for after the second bottom here is an ideal entry either near the top, or, you know, sometimes you don't know if it's going to break out, so I usually look for confirmations. And a confirmation is when this doesn't break down and we are going on the way down. And then you can see this is where my entry was, right around here on this line. Also, what I really like is sometimes not trading this pattern, but trading a confirmation pattern called the breakdown bounce. And this pattern simply is when this channel breaks to the downside and bounces back up, and then I get into a position right around here. I like that a bit more because it is a much better confirmation that this channel is finally breaking down, and there's usually quite a bit of downside. Getting into an ascending channel short is a bit aggressive, and I don't always recommend it because sometimes the price will, consolidate here and then keep going up, and you got to cut that position very quickly, and it can be a bit more risky. So trading the ascending channel short pattern, it takes a bit more experience, but overall I really like how it plays out simply because it's so clean and you see it over and over again. Here you can see on a bit bigger of a time frame on a 5-minute chart where my entry was and where my exit was. And although this was a really nice profit, it could have been much bigger. Here you can see in my trade journal, I only took a 2.8%, which is usually on the lower end of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for around 4% profit, and that even would have been if I just closed out just a little bit lower. But if I really waited till here, I could have made 6, 7, 8% on this pattern, and it would have been really nice. But you can never complain about taking some profits, and you'll never go broke taking profits. Actually, it's funny, this trade even ended lower. So my target for this pattern to kind of play out was around the 7.8 level, and it went around to the 7.6 level. It really just kept washing this whole thing out. But right now we have a little bull rally, and I'm not trying to play with fire, and I'm not really trying to guess the direction. I'm just trying to play reliable patterns and take profit when I have it. That's really what it is all about with day trading. Swing trading and investing is completely different, but with day trading, you're trying to trade these very specific patterns and take your profits when you have them. Alright guys, I'm going to hurry up a little bit more. I'm going right into the biggest lessons. There's only the two small kind of trades I made in the remaining of the week. The first pattern was a bearish rectangle pattern short, and it's something I usually don't do. So one, I used a small position size, and two, I was very on edge about this trade. You can see actually in this longer term chart, this is where I shorted around this longer resistance line, and actually did work out pretty well. And I got out half my position, and I was looking for a little further breakdown to get out my other half of the position. This is something I talk about a lot in ideal exits, and that is simply taking profits off the table as the trade continues. Unfortunately, then the price did go up and actually kept on going, and I got out. So this trade overall was a small loss for me. I call it a scratch if it's under 50 bucks, or ideally 100 bucks, but I have to get my account size a little bit bigger for that. As you can see here, it was a 0.39% loss, so nothing too crazy. The next trade, the breakdown bounce short, is the pattern that I was talking about before when I was talking a lot about the ascending channel. And right now in this chart, you're going to be able to see this very clearly. So this is the ascending channel short I traded and I talked about initially. And this here you can really see how the price crashed, and if I held this would have been huge. But again, like I said, this is usually not something I'm looking for, because sometimes you get a nice dip like that and then the price continues. So I like to take my profits when I have the chance. Anyway, I was looking to do a similar pattern. We had a nice breakdown here and came back to this roughly support line. I shorted and the price did not crash, so I got out of this one. Overall, these were two scratches. This was probably a unnecessary trade. I was, simply just not doing a lot, and I knew I had some guests coming over, so I was not going to be able to trade. So I think I got a little aggressive in this. This is not an ideal pattern. It's not very clean. It's something I call a little choppy. So it would have been best to avoid this pattern altogether. There's a lot of other good stuff in the market, and this was a bit unnecessary of a trade. So quickly to wrap up here, what's next? What's planned for this week? Even though it's already Thursday, it's kind of already wrapping up, and before you know it, I'm going to come out with the next weekly trade review video. But one thing I definitely want to highlight is that the chart pattern library is slowly filling out. I want to also make a new addition in the chart pattern library of my current top 3 long trades and my current top 3 short trades. So that's going to be a really cool area. It's also going to be constantly switching out depending on bear market, what kind of if we're in consolidation. The market and chart patterns always change a little bit depending on kind of what's hot, but if you find your patterns that really work for you and your trading personality, then that's really what the key is. So that's why I want to build the top 3, not just for myself, but for everyone else to see kind of what's working for me and seeing if you can find one of those patterns that work for you. So I'm going to be adding that hopefully by the end of this week. If not by the end of this week, I want to get it done 100% before the 10th. So keep an eye out for that. I'll be sure to send an email for you guys as well. Also, if you do not have access to the chart pattern library and you are serious about improving your crypto trading strategies and your education and your consistency, then I definitely recommend checking out what it takes to unlock all the resources here at crypto.enzlo.com, especially if there's something during this video that didn't fully click, or in that sense, any of the videos. It's probably because you have not yet studied all that there is on this website, because everything I talk about, I've already talked about many times somewhere in the site. If it's in the advanced crypto trading course, if it's somewhere in the chart pattern library where I always talk about ideal entries and exits, almost every single one of my trades, for example, is outlined ahead of time in my morning watch list that I send out 5 times a week, every business day. And now I have the new investor portfolio slowly being built out as we are in this bear market. So there's tons of good stuff here on this site for you guys to check out. My goal is to have the best crypto trading educational resources online when it comes to becoming a consistently profitable trader. I document each and every one of my trades so you can learn from them too and expedite your learning curve. It's much cheaper and faster to learn from someone else's successes and failures on top of your own, and that's what I'm trying to create here. Also guys, if you have any questions, remember, feel free to email me at alex.enzlo.com. Leave a comment below if you're on the blog post or if you're on YouTube. I'd be happy to get back to you as soon as possible. If you have that question, somebody else probably does as well. Last but definitely not the least, if you are new here or you have not already checked it out, definitely give the Intro to Crypto Trading course a look. It's 5 days long and there's 16 videos. There's a nice to-do list on every day, so you can make sure to hit every important topic and really keep on track and be sure that you don't miss anything. All right, guys, that's all from me. Have a great new year and happy trading. Ciao, ciao.